Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 32 of my modded Factorio playthrough. Enjoy! Alright, so the next step after this is going to be making the tier 2 circuits, which are important. So we need basic circuit boards, and then the main things are the electronic circuits, or the electronic components, because we already make solder and we already make circuit boards. So those will be very easy to place. Now, you don't want to put these things too close to each other in case for some reason you need to expand to the right or to the left a tiny bit. So I usually like to leave like, 2 empty spaces or something like that. So I left 4 there because there's going to be some belts. Actually, well, I just said leave 2 empty spaces, but 1, 2, and then we need 2 belts. Yep. So let's put 1 more in there. There we go. Because one of these belts is going to be the input, which is going to be basic circuit boards and solder. And one of them is going to be the output, so that's why that's like that. Let's do some ratios again. So one machine is going to need 5 basic electronics components per second. And the basic electronics components, we need 2 seconds to make 5, so it's a 1-to-2 ratio. So, boom, there's that ratio, so far anyway. It's a little more complicated than that. Now these use carbon, which we're already making on the belt, so we don't have to worry about it, and tinned copper wire. So tinned copper wire, looks like we're going to make 6 tinned copper wire per second, and one of these machines needs a half. So these two need 1. And when this one produces 6. So that means we need 6 times as much of these. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And are we out of resources? Yep. Every time I pick up iron, I'm thinking, how's the patch? How's the patch? Oh man, it's can't even really select it anymore. It's so light. Uh-oh. The machines are running out. It'll get to the point where I can just click on the machine to find out how many resources are left. Wow. This is cutting it close. So I'm thinking no unnecessary manufacturing at this point. So I'll pick up all of that. Okay, there we go. No unnecessary manufacturing. Full inventory. We are getting very close to running out of resources. At least the efficient kind. And I really don't want to start on the stereotype, because it's just so much copper we don't need right now. Man, I got all kinds of resources here to get rid of. Oh, that's iron pipe. We don't need that anymore. Can get that up, put in the junk chest. Let's see, we can get rid of the coal. And get rid of the carbon. Yeah, that looks pretty good. The problem with working on the bus is that you end up having to pick up a lot of resources when you're moving the bus around and splicing things in, so you commonly find your inventory full of junk. It's just kind of how it works. We can put our extra in there. Yeah, it's close enough to clean for now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we need twice as many of the electronic components. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that's a ratio. And that looks pretty good because that's 6. These produce at once because we were making 12 per second here under the assumption that 6 of them were going to be sent over here. So that works out rather well. And then tinned copper wire, we need 6 regular copper wire per second. If I recall, they work at the speed of 4 per second. Yes. Yeah, it's a lot easier to work with these machines since their crafting speed is 1, so I don't have to constantly calculate what the crafting speed is. So that looks pretty good. Now we just need to kind of space everything out and make it work. Oops. Let's get rid of all of these. So the first question is, can that spacing we were doing over here work on this side? Well, on the input, we're going to need, on the left side, 1 circuit board and 1 solder per second. So basically 2 per second, which we can do with this. But let's make them long-handed. And we need more inserters. There we go. So the input's going to be, oops, on the far side right there. And then the output is going to be 1 per second, but then we could use the corner inserters for this. So pick up, drop. Right there. And right there. There we go. So this is going to be the output. And we're also going to need 5 electronic components per second, which I think we can't do unless we do an absolutely maximum number of inserters by also having a gap in here. But I think that's overkill because we are very close to being able to get the fast inserters, which I believe is just automation 2 right here. Yeah, but we could research it. We just don't have the electronic ports for it. So we are quite close. And actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to start research on that now because we're going to need it later. Because we're going to need these assembly machines for the science packs in the assembly machine 2, so we'll start on that. And let me make sure we have enough resources in the box. Ooh, looks like it. For now, just put a pin in it and think this isn't enough inserters, but we can fix it later by replacing them. I'm not going to go overkill on this when moments from now we're not going to need it anymore. So let's just put the maximum number of inserters we can get in there for now. Pick up, drop, and this is going to be about 5 or about 4 units per second when we need 5. So it's going to be close, just not enough. Yep, and because we have a maximum density inserter thing here, we're going to need to put poles in all the corners. And there we go. There's our copyable pattern. And we need to place 6 of these down in total. Well, 6 machines, so we already have 2. So that'll be 4. And then 6. And we need lots of inserters. And it looks like we're out of motors. And how many red inserters do we have on the network? 834 and rising. That's insane. Now we're going to have to fix the inserters, of course. Let's see, and then it's going to be pick up, drop for these ones. Okay. Yeah, it looks pretty good. These ones are the wrong direction. Oh yeah, I had those the wrong direction too. Okay. That looks pretty good. Alright, let's get this belt fixed. It's going to need to be basic circuits and solder. So let's put this one right here, right there. Let's do this one be the solder. Put that right there. Then run that down. Oh, cool. Automation is done. Let's see if all these inserters are set correctly. Yeah, seems like they're working. And we need the tier 1 circuits. I keep forgetting their names, so I'm going to call them that. Right there. Just amazing looking at all that stuff moving. Just a flurry of machines. Okay. That part's good. So now we need an insane number of these machines here. Yep, the resistors, electronic components. So how many inserters do these machines need? Well, it needs to output 2.5 per second, and that's very close to having 2 red inserters. But since we're being perfect, we'll make it a perfect ratio. If we can. Since we can, we might as well. So it needs to have 3 on the output. Then the input's going to need half of a tinned wire and half of a carbon. That's pretty easy to do. You can just have 1 belt here. I'll do 2. I'll explain that in a little bit. I'll do 2 belts. So this one's going to be the carbon belt. So it's going to need 1 short-handed one and 1 long-handed one. Well, and in fact, the short reason for that, of having the 2 belts instead of 1, is because these corner inserters, I think I mentioned it before, where they place on the inside of the belt for some reason when all the other inserters do outside of the belt. So it's going to make it a little difficult to have one side of the belt be one thing and one side of the belt be the other if we have inserters placing them on both sides of the belt. But something that we can't easily control. So let's just do this for now. So we're going to need to have 12 of these machines, but first let's copy this. Probably don't even need to bother worrying about the inserter length because it's just going to be wrong in a second. It's kind of frustrating, but that's how it is until they fix the mod. Up, and let's see, let's make our copyable piece. There we go. And the power poles. And this. Let's copy all of it. Yes. And yes. And lots of inserters, because we don't have enough yet. We're going to have like 1,000 of these things in this factory by the time this is all done. Now, since this is going to be twice as tall, we're going to need this to be a down belt to make sure that it works properly. And actually, this is be a convenient spot to do a little belt balancing. Yeah, it's going to be placing it... Actually, it's going to be kind of placing it on both the inside and the outside of the belt, but I don't know how necessary this is going to be. We'll give it a shot anyway. There we go. And let's continue the copying. So we're going to need to have 3 more of these placed. Recipe's a little wrong, because the belt's going the wrong way, but we can do this. Yes, 1, 2, 3. Need more resources. Uh-oh. Well, now we know exactly how many resources we have. 683 and 246, and that's it. In fact, we're so low on resources, I'm not even going to place anything else in there yet. I'll leave the machines there since we're not manufacturing them, but at this point, I kind of want every last available resource. So it looks like crafting time's going to get long again. Okay. Now I just have to fix the inserter length. These ones are long up here. And we need to fix the corners. Okay, that looks like it. Alright, and then we need to make the tinned copper wire on this side. Which I believe is just this one machine, which needs to output 6 per second. Which is basically every inserter available. Is that even enough? I don't think that it is. So this needs copper cable and tin plate. And I believe we need 2 assembling machines for copper cables. So 1, 2, 3. And the copper cable machine we've already done here, so we can tell that it needs 2 inputs and the 3 outputs. Put this in the middle. And this machine just needs just as many outputs, or inputs, as it has outputs. Alright, that looks good. This is going to be copper. Now, as far as tin, because we need these things to be, these long inserters, these corner inserters, the belt has to be 1 space away in order for them to reach. So it means we're kind of in an awkward position with this one. But there is some trickery we can do. We can put a long-handed right here, and that will reach over this inserter to put into the machine. And then we can bring our tin right there. So let's extend these brick pathways here. All right, let's get the copper down. Alright, and we need the tin. Okay, so it looks like it's not enough. Well, we can fix that fairly easily. Just put another long one right here for now. There we go. Look at that thing go. It's green, so that means it has enough inserters. And that's going to fill up. Looks like we don't need this one right here or here. And now we need the carbon. So right there. Send the carbon down. I'm also not extending these belts because I'm trying to save just in iron resources that you use to make belts. So I'm trying very hard to save all of the resources we have right now, because we are low. And in fact, this should be everything we need to start pumping out the Tier 2 circuits. It looks like it. It's working. Alright, and I will do a balancing right here. Right this. There we go. That could be the underground. Yeah, you see how, because they're inserting, they only insert on the near side for some reason, so that's kind of hurting productivity a little bit, but it'll be okay, it'll work. So, let's see, down. And then put a gap right here. There we go. Now it should be running at full power. At least until that clears up. Yeah, they're mostly green, but sometimes they turn yellow because these inserters aren't quite enough for the electronic circuits, or for the resistors. What are they called? Basic electronic components. But it seems like it's working pretty well. So, power pole reach down there? Not really. So let's put another one down. Make that a regular. And fill that up with those juicy 2-tier circuits. Or Tier 2 circuits. And we need some lights. Well, there's not really any room for it. They're like completely clogged. So I guess I'm going to have to put them right here. Let's see, yep, so like right there. And right there. And right there. Yeah. Looks pretty good to me. We're out of time for today, so I'll see you at the next episode.